practically that becomes a segment which we could not have touched earlier if we had not started the business. Similarly, when you look at the
Well, good afternoon. You're with us here on BTTV. I'm Aabha Bakaya. Let's take a look at markets. Today, extending those losses, so not really ending towards a very great end of the week. Everyone's distracted by the cricket this afternoon, and you'll see that or hear that across our newsroom as well, I'm sure, shortly. But the Nifty is down about 0.7% right now. We've got the mid-cap index also down about 1%, so not looking all that positive in today's session. Let me take you through some of the other major losers today and what's going on. Aurobindo, of course, in the news for all the wrong reasons, and we'll come to that shortly, but that stock is seeing a nosedive. Axis is down about 4%, Bandhan, AU Small Finance, some of the other names. The first side, I'm just going to bring up some of those losers for you on your screen. There you go. So banks are taking a knock, and remember, they've actually been trending much higher, seeing a lot of buying interest. So you could also call this profit booking, really, seeing the way banks are plummeting in today's session in particular. But I've got Amit with me. He's joining us to really take us through some of the key movers in the market and the key factors in place. Amit, let me get your perspective on the banks in particular, because clearly that's where a lot of the pressure is coming in today.
So yeah, right. I think that's but natural because you had a good move also in banks, and particularly in the PSU banks, because SBI results came out really good. And I think if you look at the recovery now over the quarters in banking space, it has been really encouraging. And the credit growth, actually, I am seeing every month basis, the credit growth has been improving very fast. We saw in the month of October, it was hitting 18%. I think we will not be surprised if it moves beyond 20% now very soon. Now, the challenge for the banks will be that going forward, if the credit growth is improving fast, you need to fund this growth. And that is where you have to increase the deposit rates, because CASA is generally fixed and the lending rates are variable. So that was increased, but you have to increase the deposit rates. And then if you are borrowing at higher rate now, so this is where going forward, the NIMs can, shrink a bit, which are expanding right now. So this expansion may remain for a while, but going forward, that is a challenge. So that is where we feel the larger banks can remain in focus, whether it is PSU or it is private. The smaller banks, I think that valuation perspective, whenever this NIM will get shrink, I think it can challenge the valuations going forward. So selective larger banks, we can look at actually, or we can continue to focus.
Sure. So, I mean, Sensex down about 500 points. It's clearly the banks today all across the board. If we dive a little deeper within the PSUs, the private names, Amit, what would you buy? What would you hold? What are some of the targets that you're looking at? The top 2-3 names from the banking pack, because that's the main talking point today, clearly.
So I think one of the best thing, if you see now the results, is the return on assets. So ROAs are improving quite substantially. We have seen on a book of 29 lakh crore close to in SBI, the ROAs are hitting 1%. In Axis Bank, the much awaited ROA of 1.8% also has been achieved. In fact, the ROE levels now are hitting around 18%. So in Axis Bank, we have seen it. So I think this is where, Axis, for example, this was one of the cheapest private bank. And then we saw the move recently in the stock. Now there is a SUTI stake sale from the government. So I think that is where it is subdued today. But otherwise, my sense is that going forward, you will see recovery in this particular bank also. And if you see from the PSU front, SBI and possibly Bank of Baroda, these banks remain our, in the top list. And particularly SBI, because if you look at the home loan book also, because it is one of the safest loan book, we have seen it has increased actually significantly in the bank, and it has gone to even 6 to 7 lakh crores now. And that is where I think going forward, whenever you are seeing the housing capex kind of thing getting revived, we are already seeing quite number of hefty registrations now. I think that is something these kind of banks are going to be benefited. You look at HDFC Bank, the challenge for HDFC Bank before was that whatever HDFC is going to lend to the home housing for housing loans, So it did not have that kind of coverage actually in their own bank. Now after the merger, they will have that particular advantage, and their pie of that housing loan will increase actually going forward.
Okay, great. Talking about housing, what's your view on real estate? I'm just going to go through some of those consumption pockets turn by turn. Real estate in particular, first let's talk about that. Which are the key names there that you find attractive? Are you even bullish on real estate?
See, if you see the formal wage growth, it has increased actually quite tremendously. I mean, financial year 12 till financial year 22, we had on an average 11% CAGR of this formal wage growth. Now, we have seen in the last 1 or 1.5 years around 16% of growth. I think this is where consumption as well as real estate, I think they will come into picture. So in consumptions for the time being, we are seeing more luxury goods performing. The segments which are linked to urban areas, they are performing. So whether it is jewelry or whether it is, the vehicles like Eicher Motor, the Royal Enfield. So that segment is doing much better. Now we are seeing, if you look at currently the water reservoir levels in India, so they have touched 90%. So if you look at the last 10-year average, the water reservoirs were around 76, 77%. So that is where the forthcoming Rabi crop now is also likely to be better. So I will not be surprised if this consumption theme can go to the tier 2, tier 3 and the rural areas also in the coming quarters. And those kind of stocks can also coming back. For example, in auto, you look at Maruti now. So Maruti was not doing any kind of launches in the last 1 or 1.5 years. Now they are coming back with a very significant kind of launches. Now I think financial year 23, financial year 24, you will have good launches from Maruti, and particularly in SUV. So they are trying to tap actually that market also, which is in demand. And SUV in the overall passenger vehicles was hardly 20% in the last year, and now it has reached to 50%. So that is where consumption can broaden slowly. Right now, the inflation has its impact on the rural areas. But as I said, if Rabi crop and this harvesting goes fine, I think the things can be better for consumption overall theme.
Okay, what about, yeah, we were talking about auto. What about M&M in particular? Let me bring that up as well, because auto has been on fire in terms of the sales numbers, the waiting lists, but M&M today taking a nosedive. So, of course, again, profit booking coming in. What are the names within that pack that you're bullish on?
So M&M we bought in our ACE equity portfolio at a price of 600 in 2021 starting. And so that time, if you look at the management view, whatever they started speaking, now everything panned out actually so far. They were talking about their focus on electric vehicles. Now you are seeing how M&M is moving into the EVs now. So going forward, 27% of SUVs will be EVs over the overall vehicles they are going to launch. If you see their focus on SUVs, so XUV 700, XUV previously 500, and now a Scorpio and now Thar. So they are saying good traction actually in the market so far. And another thing, if you look at from the electric vehicles only, after two-wheelers, I think three-wheelers are going to come back in terms of demand. So this is the second highest level of demand I think going forward we are going to see. And they have launched Triazor in the market. I think that is something over the period traction can come. And tractors have recovered again. This is what I am getting a sense. There was a higher base effect previously because of which tractors were languishing. But my sense is now it is slowly coming back again. So M&M is a good package from all of this perspective. They have already reduced the international subsidiary losses from almost 3,300 crore. They have reduced significantly now to 200 crores. So that is where the stock is doing much better. My sense is it has given a breakout above 1100 or 1000 or 1100 levels. So any profit booking opportunity of 100, 150 rupees, I think it's a good buying opportunity. And we are also looking to increase our weight in the stock now, though our money has got doubled in the stock in the portfolio. But looking at this market share gain in the SUV segment, I think this is definitely one of the pick going forward.
Okay. What about Tata Motors? Also asking, because of course it's been in the news on account of earnings. What's your view there? Slightly different story, of course.
So Tata Motors domestically it is doing good, but ultimately if you look at the bottom line, it is being driven more from the Jaguar. And China is still showing the signs of slowdown. It may take another 1 year or so when China demand can come back. They are giving a stimulus, they are cutting down the rates. So we have to see actually going forward how does it shape up. But for the time being, whether it is a European market or it is a Chinese market, so they are under definitely some kind of trouble. The stock is taking time to recover. I think that is what happening. So domestically, the number of this is the largest EV player now. They came out with Nixon EV and then they have come out furthermore. And I think that is where the traction is going. So slowly, I think whenever the domestic piece become little larger impact, you will see the stock getting more traction. Until that is not happening, it's a more global player actually for the time being, and for which we have to wait.
All right, fair enough. A few minutes to go to close. Let's take a look at what else is attractive right now. Watching out for Hindalco earnings. So that one's also been taking a beating ahead of that. Profit also expectations are may continue to take a hit on account of the LME price slump, cost surge also that we're seeing. What's your view on Hindalco and some of the other commodity names?
So commodities, obviously, they have seen a lot of decline. 40-45% of price decline we have seen across the commodities. And in fact, aluminium was one of the commodity which has suffered the most. And so that is where the Hindalco also, which was performing much better before that also, have come down and became almost half. Now, if you see right now what's happening, I think very, very interesting thing going forward. The weakest link in the market, in the global markets, was Europe. We had seen that Europe was in trouble. Energy cost had moved up to almost 75 euros, and the winter season going forward was also supposed to be a trouble one. That how they will manage when the embargo will be there on Russia and everything. Now we are seeing that the energy prices in Europe actually have come down from 75 to 30 euros now. And going forward, their capacities are full. I mean, it is 95% full in European Union and 98% full actually in Germany. So euro has 58% weight in dollar index. So when euro falls, dollar increases. So this dollar moved continuously, because of which commodities also had declined, because commodities are dollar denominated. So now I think there is a halt in the trend, because continuous fall in euro from $1.25 to almost $0.97 discount. I think that has taken a lot of things in the price. And now European Central Bank has increased the interest rates also. So it is possible this continuous fall of euro can be halted, the continuous rise in dollar can be halted, and that is where some of the reversal we see in the commodities pack. So it is possible, much more downside is not there on the cards. And industrial metals, my belief is, because there is not much capex which has happened in industrial metals, and that is where beyond a point the fall is restricted. They can spend some time, but they can recover again, I think, going forward. So that is where it is a different bucket than fossil fuel. Fossil fuel can see alternatives coming up, but there are no major alternatives to industrial metals. And I think when governments are going for expenditure now, slowly going forward, you will see again traction coming in there.
All right, thanks for joining us, Amit, and taking us through your views on how things stand across some of these pockets of the market. Let me also go across to Karishma now. Aurobindo Pharma has plunged 13% in trade today. Its ED, Sarath Chandra Reddy, was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Sarath is the son of promoter Ramprasad Reddy, and the company said it's ascertaining details and will make disclosures as appropriate. Sarath was arrested by the probe agency allegedly in connection with the Delhi liquor excise policy scam. Karishma, take us through all the details we have on this and any kind of comment that's coming from the company.
Oh, absolutely. First things first, let me tell you that the shares of Aurobindo Pharma has slumped beyond 10% in today's trade. And now, getting to the story, Enforcement Directorate has made these arrests in the liquor trade scam. And this was all pertaining to how CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, had started the case also in relation to Deputy CM of Delhi, that is Manish Sisodia. In fact, he was named as one of the accused in the FIR, taking forward most of the connections with the Aam Aadmi Party are being taken up, due to which Benoy Babu of Pernod Ricard and P. Sarat Chandra Reddy of Aurobindo Pharma have now been arrested under the PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act by Enforcement Directorate. Now, this word that's coming in this arrest related to Delhi excise policy is that the company has commented that the person named, that is Sarath, who's being named by ED, is in no way connected company. Now, if we go procedurally, then what ED of
But I make the same
here
way.
is
It's
since they're
the
taking
same.
under the Money Laundering PMLA Act,
Yeah.
definitely investigate it further and take the matter to court in terms of a trial case.
All right, Karishma, thanks for that. Heading in towards close now and quickly running you through really some of the pockets of action today. It was largely a day for declines, as you can see on your screen, inching towards 18,000 and 60,650 on the Sensex. Aurobindo Pharma on your screen, that took a big knock today for obvious reasons. And it was the banks. Banking stocks is really where we saw the maximum push. Axis was down 3.5% in particular, but across the board on those banking names. SBI, for instance, and financials, Bajaj Finance, both the Bajaj twins were trending lower. Titan, ITC, some of the other names, M&M, that also looked very lackluster in today's session. Clearly a day for the declines, and overall markets have been trending lower in the last couple of sessions. Tata Motors also sinking post its earnings. We've not really had any earnings come out in the last couple of days that have been all that inspiring. We're watching out for Hindalco now, so let's see how that goes. But overall, Nifty definitely seeing a little bit of pressure. There are, of course, global factors at play here, but this could largely be attributed to profit booking for the moment. Let's see how the week closes out tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.